Sofia Coppola is one of the most extraordinary filmmakers of all time because she beautifully expresses the inexpressible. She wants us to break out of the tedium of being and move into the realm of becoming. Coppola is very interested in showing us the captivity of mere being. She's specifically interested in the captivity of being a woman. The Virgin Suicides expressed this deathly concept to its tragic extremes, with the Lisbon sisters' isolation pushing them towards annihilation. Lost in translation, Sofia Coppola's follow-up film takes a more inward look at the concept of captivity. The film opens on one of the most perfect images captured in 2000's film. Yes, I am talking about Scarlett Johansson in pink panties. I'm speaking, of course, of Coppola insisting that we immediately objectify her before we even see her face. Coppola is framing her body deliberately so that we make her most fleshly part an object of want. As experienced by the Lisbon sisters in Coppola's debut, The Virgin Suicides, there is captivity in the male gaze, and yet there is sincerity in its truest reverence. Sofia Coppola, a bombshell in her own right, frames beautiful women from the point of view of the self-conscious ex-model. There is certainly something to make holy out of Scarlett Johansson's remarkable physical form. She's become a sex symbol for a reason. Very visceral, completely understandable reasons. It's Coppola's framing of the male gaze from a humanist perspective that elevates this cold open to a level of body poetics. It's not about the attractiveness of her form or the impossibles of her figure. This is obvious. For Coppola, it's about all of her indescribables contrasted with the forcefulness of the limbo in her being. Charlotte is trapped in a perpetual hotel room. Charlotte is isolated. Coppola is saying that while you can absolutely objectify a woman or fantasize about her body and her lips, you can never capture her. You need to free her, and Coppola knows you haven't got a clue as to how. Giovanni Ribisi plays Charlotte's husband. He's one of my favorite actors in the world. Even though he's in just a handful of scenes, he manages to captivate me in a stuttering, self-conscious performance of clinical disinterest. He's never the focal point of Coppola's framing. Rather, the director is far more concerned with where Charlotte's husband's attention is being directed. It is never being spoiled on his wife. Her husband is a photographer, and the job of a photographer is to capture moments, places, and people. Once again, you cannot capture a woman like Scarlett Johansson. A woman like Scarlett Johansson begs to be set free. You cannot keep her in a perpetual hotel room of static being. He is forsaking everything about her that makes her extraordinary. His behavior hurts her deeply, and it's painful to experience her intense loneliness. Coppola photographs them and gives Charlotte the attention she craves so much. Coppola's main concern is how hurt Charlotte is and how lost she has become. In fact, the only time Giovanni takes center frame, free of sunglasses, posturing, and disinterest, is in Polaroid snapshots he has taken of the two of them. He takes up most of the photograph's space. He's far more intrigued by the act of capturing something empty than becoming something more sincere. Coppola has said, "My films are not about being, but becoming." When two people are lost together, they have found each other. Lost in Translation is a masterful film about existential inertia. It's about the incomprehensibility of living. It's about feeling so pitifully lost and meaningless. It's about making something. It's about truly becoming. Life is a Foucault arcade. We live in an absurdist, postmodern universe where nothing truly has any inherent meaning. Everyone we know is mindlessly hammering away at the perpetual emptiness of post-millennium existence. We know everything and we know nothing. Life has been documented so many times by so many people before us. What originality could we possibly hope to possess in the face of all human writings? We have karaoke desires, and we don't know how to express ourselves without a hint of postmodern irony. We want something more than truth. We want something inexpressible. It doesn't have to be anything mammoth, but it has to be worth something. We need to feel like we're still growing. We need to feel as if we are truly still living, evolving, and becoming. We need to believe that there are mysteries out there that no epoch could demystify. We need attention, and we crave to give attention to those who truly capture our own. We want to be found. The film's soundtrack is primarily comprised of shoegaze standards. Kevin Shields, of My Bloody Valentine, penned several new songs just for the film. Shoegaze is a kind of punk music where noise and static prevail. But if you listen closely, you'll hear the most sweet and sincere melodies nearly buried under all of that unintelligible sound. The music of Lost in Translation mimics Sofia Coppola's most profound point. We live in a busy universe, one that is full of disinterest, neon lights, and metropolitan labyrinths. But somewhere, inside of all this modern-era cacophony, there is a dynamic becoming. The meaning of life has simply gotten lost in the translation of being. Once again, the meaning of life has simply gotten lost in the translation of being. You're not hopeless. Bill Murray and Scarlett Johansson broke my heart. They gave Sofia Coppola two of the most emotional and heartfelt performances of the 2000s. I need someone to tell me that I am not hopeless. I need someone to understand me just a little, just for a while. Sofia Coppola's films are all about stunning scenes of mystery. We will never know what it was that Bob whispered into Charlotte's ear in the film's final and most tender scene. It was a moment that was too pure, too meaningful, and too human to be fully captured. Coppola lets us dream and allows us to wonder. Coppola lets us interpret her mysteries for ourselves. We hear what we wish we heard. Sofia Coppola's most stunning achievement was giving her audience hope. We fill in the dialogue and we make up our own words. We imagine that Bob tells her what we would all like to hear. We imagine that he tells her the one thing she truly needs to be told. Coppola romanced me into figuring out myself and what I think is missing from my own life. The words I believe Bob says to Charlotte are the same words I believe would change my life and make it mean something real for once. The words Coppola romanced into my head are the same words that could save me. I'm sure of it. Just like honey. Sofia Coppola's 2003 film is a masterwork of the American cinema. It is simply without equal. The best film of the 2000s. No contest. It perfectly illustrates the sad over-complexities of postmodern life. It brilliantly demonstrates the paradox of becoming in a universe that has already been. Once again, let me please repeat that because it's extremely important. It brilliantly demonstrates the paradox of becoming in a universe that has already been. I am obsessed and I am in love with Sofia Coppola's work. She is one of the true masters of world cinema. She is one of the most brilliant filmmakers ever born. Lost in Translation is one of the most pure and well-meaning films ever made. It cures the dispossessed who look up to it, searching for somewhere to be. Every one of Coppola's films are romances of intense mysteries. All of her films want to chase after you. She wants to pursue you. Sofia Coppola wants to hold you in her arms and say, "You're not hopeless." She wants you to know that she cares about you and that she understands you. And walking back to you is the hardest thing that I can do. That I can do for you. For you. Lost in Translation is a life-saving film that tastes just like honey. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Like, comment, subscribe, and share. This is Zachary Conan saying, thank you, Sofia. It means a lot.